tribalism is everywhere. You can only like Genshin Impact or Wuthering Waves. You can only like Ananta or Neverness to Everness. Well, I have something that you need to hear. I have information here that is going to be pertinent for your gaming future. It is okay to like both. You are more than capable of enjoying more than one game. There is enough space in the genre for more than one game to exist. Coexistence is totally fine. In this instance, Ananta versus NTE. Personally, from my perspective, as someone that has played hours of Ananta at Tokyo Game Show on numerous different days and has played NTE for pretty much every state of its development process, it ain't even close. Here's why. Ananta is being developed by Naked Rain and NetEase Games. Neverness to Everness is developed by Hada Studio and Perfect World Games. They are both free-to-play, urban, open-world anime action RPGs. They are both also often called anime GTA. I personally think that NTE is not nearly as GTA as Ananta. I think NTE is much more of a gacha game, when I think Ananta is much more of a single player with multiplayer aspects, more traditional AAA budget game. Thankfully, we love both styles of games. We're gacha gamers here after all. They both feature modern cities. They both have slice of lifestyle elements, supernatural elements, a lot of mobility, vehicle usage, character switching, exploration, side activities, live service updates. Sure, they're direct competitors, but they differ significantly in terms of focus. NTE is much more story-driven. It has supernatural and horror themes, a lot of RPG depth. Ananta, on the other hand, focuses more on world traversal, the action combat. Ananta, of course, has not released yet. Some people are speculating 2026. I personally think it's probably going to release in 2027. NTE, on the other hand, released globally on April 29th. Ananta also seems much more humorous, much more chaotic. NTE has a focus on anomalies. Once again, that supernatural horror theme. It is much more story driven and has a very large focus on the narrative overall, while also providing you with a large city to explore. Ananta, on the other hand, is much more of a sandbox open world action RPG than NTE is. NTE is dense. It has a story rich city. There's a lot to see. There's a lot to explore. There are tons of side quests available. The weather actively changes. There's a lot of NPC interactions, a lot of anomaly events going on. Ananta, however, is a sandbox game. It has procedural elements spawning. It has complete and utter pure freedom. There are absolutely absurd interactions going on. One example of this is the racing toilets. There are tons of mini games. There are very eccentric NPCs. There are a lot of interactable environments. It's a lot less linear, I think, a lot more kind of just chill, relax, do whatever the hell you want to do vibe. NTE has climbing, it has swimming, it has driving. There are special abilities. You can fish, you can own your own home, you can run your own business. There are numerous different vehicles that you can purchase. However, you cannot wall run outside of Nanalie, the little pink hair girl, and the dog. You can technically run horizontally, but you cannot run vertically. In Ananta, you can run vertically, you can run horizontally. It has absolutely unfiltered, unlimited parkour. You can fully wall run, climb, you can swing through the streets from building to building, Spider-Man style, you can grapple. There are normal bicycles, motorcycles, cars, other methods of traversal, vehicles that aren't limited to these. The traversal integrates seamlessly, not only into the combat, but also the exploration with absolutely no stamina whatsoever. The little girl Taffy, she not only has a motorized scooter that she can turn into a hammer, but then she can turn the hammer into the motorized scooter. Ananta is significantly more fluid and I think more superhero-like, where NTE is a lot more grounded. The combat between the two is completely different. NTE is a fast-paced third-person hack and slash game. You have your basic attack, you have your individual character skills, and then you have your individual character ultimates. You swap, you trigger an intro or outro ability. There are individual synergies, and that's pretty much it. Ananta, on the other hand, is much more cinematic brawler style. You have environmental takedowns. The combat for each character is different. So as an example here, the main main character fights like a character out of Sifu. There are watchdog elements. You can pick up weapons off the ground. You can knock a weapon out of the hands of an enemy and take their weapon and then start beating them with it. Yo, I don't mean to interrupt the video, but I need to take a moment here to thank all my incredible patrons over on Patreon whose support continues to allow for me to do regular videos like this every single day on this channel. Thank y'all so much, including our YouTube channel members. You guys mean the world to me. So do you guys as viewers as well. Now, without further ado, let's continue. There are traversal integrated attacks, like you can swing in, you can smash, you can grapple out, you can use telekinetic abilities to pick enemies up, you can shoot. Unlike in NTE, you don't just have 3 or 4 characters that you can swap to at any point. They just immediately take the spot of the character that you're controlling. Instead, each character in Ananta is in a different part of the world. So much like GTA, if you swap to another character, the other character might be engaged in something completely different. They might be doing a heist, they might be in a fight, they might be playing basketball, and now you're taking control of them while they're out there living their life and coexisting in the world alongside you. That is completely different. Both work great in their own aspects, but both are completely different and should not be compared. The vast majority of characters and all upcoming characters in the future in NTE are going to be Gacha. The Gacha is actually very forgiving and very friendly. Their guarantee is actually at 90. There's no 50-50 whatsoever, which means that actually acquiring these characters is relatively easy as long as you're actively playing the game. In Ananta, however, there is no character Gacha whatsoever. All characters are unlocked naturally via story progression. Outfits in NTE seem to be for each individual character, whereas outfits in Ananta are a one-fit-all style, meaning that every character can use the same outfits. If you have a tiny bikini for one character, every character, big and small, regardless of their body shape or size, is going to fit into that same bikini style. Same with the male characters. NTE has plenty of gacha in it. Ananta seems to, other than the character gacha, have gacha for relatively the same options. Vehicle skins, furniture, cars, outfits. It's impossible to say which is going to be more free-to-play friendly. Since there's no character gacha in Ananta, one would then be led to believe that no matter the price, it's going to be more free-to-play friendly regardless. Both have a lot of mini games, a lot of side content. They have a heavy emphasis on driving, chases, vehicle customizations, vehicle skins. There's going to be housing and personalization in both games. NTE has multiplayer open world exploration where other people can join your world. It is very limited though in terms of what you can do. Like you can race other players, you can run around together, but I hope they do expand on this in the future, because currently it is very finite. The amount of things you could do with other players is very finite. In Ananta, however, it is going to be much more multiplayer focused. It is going to have a fully fleshed out PvP system. It is going to have and essentially function similarly to a kind of MMO-esque world. Not your world, but the multiplayer style world that's going to be available for people to engage in. They're taking a lot of inspiration here from GTA Online. NTE has very much so your normal gacha progression and daily loop. Ananta is not going to feature that. Instead is going to focus on sandbox replayability and a lot of freedom. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I think NTE looks like a gacha game, feels like a gacha game, and ultimately is a gacha game, whereas Ananta kind of looks a little like a gacha game, doesn't play at all like a gacha game, and is, for all intents and purposes, not a gacha game either. That doesn't mean that one game is better than the other. We are gacha gamers, so we all love gacha. But that doesn't mean we can't like non-gacha as well, and Ananta is going to have gacha elements, just not necessarily character gacha. At the end of the day, I think having both games here competing with one another directly is going to provide a lot of room for growth, improvement, and innovation, because at the end of the day, one game is going to be trying to up the other game to make sure it stays ahead, to make sure that more people play it over the other. And at the end of the day, we all benefit from that. Which game is going to be better? Nobody knows. And at the end of the day, does it matter? You can play both. There are going to be, 6-week windows between updates? Play NTE, finish NTE, play Ananta, finish Ananta, play the new NTE update, play the new Ananta update, go back to Wuwa, play Enfield, play Genshin, do any of them, do all of them, just have fun. Because at the end of the day, that's really all that matters. I know you think that you just hit the end of the video, and technically, yeah, you have. And I know your first reaction is to close out of it at this juncture, but don't. No, instead, I urge you to take a moment here and click one of the videos on screen that are coming up in just a moment so you remain up to date with everything going on in the gacha genre. Trust me, you are not going to regret doing so. Stay flaccid.